Got awfully quiet in here, but we cannot start until 10:30. I apologize. Morning. This regular meeting of the Lone Star College System Board of Trustees is now called to order at 10 a.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked Lone Star College System Police Chief Gomez to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief Gomez. Next item is roll call. Trustee Saldivar.
Here.
Thank you. Trustee Wilson.
Here.
Thank you. Trustee Broussard is absent today. Trustee Stoma
I'm here.
is present. Thank you. Trustee Mesa.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Murillo. He stepped out. He'll be right back. I'll mark him absent for now and we'll correct it when he comes in. Trustee Vogt.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Kane.
Here.
Thank you, Trustee Kane. Chancellor Castillo, has the notice for this meeting been properly posted?
Chairman, I certify that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the law. And also I wanted to give the public notice that on Monday, the administration gave notice to the Board of Trustees that we were going to withdraw from consideration action item number 9 from today's agenda. And so I just wanted to make that public announcement as well. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chancellor. Ms. Barnett, has anyone signed up to offer public comment?
Yes, we have one in-person public commenter, Dr. John Bergdorf.
Please proceed, sir. Thank you. In accordance with board policy, each speaker is allowed to speak for up to 5 minutes. There is a timer on the podium with lights. When the light turns red, your time has expired. As a reminder, Lone Star College System policy states that, quote, "The board may not respond to citizens' questions or comments on subjects not noticed on the agenda, except to cite existing policies or state factual information," end quote. Please proceed, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I am Dr. John Bergduff, President of the American Federation of Teachers here at Lone Star College. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. As a union officer, I am frequently called for help by employees whose performance has come under question. The AFT is fully supportive of the principle that all employees should have the opportunity to improve and that they should want to take advantage of that opportunity. We also acknowledge that all of us fall short of our highest goals for ourselves from time to time, and in the process, we may also fall short of the expectations the college has of us. At least since 2020, the Human Resources Office has offered training to supervisors on how to handle employee shortcomings. The training includes the formal progressive discipline steps in Lone Star policy, including a series of first, second, and final written warnings. But that training also emphasizes that in most cases, there are steps that should be tried collaboratively between the employee and their supervisor before resorting to a written warning. Over the years, I have had the privilege of watching supervisors who are masters at helping their employees improve. For privacy reasons, I'm not going to name any of them, but I would give them prizes if I could. These supervisors engage collaborative coaching conversations with employees to help them identify obstacles to their success. They seek out training opportunities for those employees if they have skills they need to develop. And when needed, they may work with the employee to develop a performance improvement plan, or PIP. In a PIP, the supervisor outlines explicit milestones for the employee and steps that the supervisor will take to help the employee reach those milestones. A PIP schedules regular check-ins between the employee and the supervisor to discuss progress and sets a clear end goal. When a supervisor is willing to make such a concerted effort to assist an employee and the employee buys into the process, some beautiful changes can come to pass. The result is happier and more confident employees, satisfied supervisors, and ultimately better served students. It is important to note that there are severe circumstances that warrant an immediate written warning. For example, if I were to punch one of my students, I would expect to get a written warning, or far more. Unfortunately, I have seen supervisors who will use the existence of special extreme cases as an excuse to skip coaching and improvement plans in all cases, and who will directly go to a written warning instead. Writing someone up is easy. Coaching them to grow is hard. Coaching and building a performance improvement plan requires a commitment in time, thought, and effort from the supervisor. Issuing a warning puts all of the responsibility on the employee and absolves the supervisor from any responsibility they have. Unfortunately, writing someone up may be the only management tool some supervisors have in their toolbox. Just as we hope a supervisor will help guide an employee, we as an institution need to commit to providing those management tools to our supervisors. Our Human Resources Department has that expertise. They have templates available to guide the process, and they will assist supervisors in planning these steps. I don't think that expertise is being used to full advantage. Building an employee coaching mindset across the system is a process which the union would be thrilled to collaborate with. As faculty and staff of a community college, we know that we cannot write off our students if they don't come to us with the best skills and practices. In fact, getting them from where they are to where they want to be is our stated mission. We should feel the same way about our employees. Unless every possible effort to help an employee improve has been tried and failed, writing someone up is simply writing someone off. Thank you so much for your kind consideration.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Barnett, are there any additional speakers?
We have no additional public commenters.
Okay, thank you. Let the record reflect that trustee Murillo is back. Thank you, trustee Murillo. Being no further speakers, we'll move on to the next item, approval of the minutes. Now time for approval of the minutes of the January 23rd, 2026 board retreat meeting and the February 5th, 2026 regular meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none. There being no corrections, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? Have a motion by trustee Saldivar. May I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Wilson has seconded. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Saldivar.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Wilson.
Yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Broussard is absent. In fact, may I just skip her going forward through roll call? Okay, thank you. Trustee Stoma.
Approve.
Thank you. Trustee Mesa.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Murillo.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Vogt.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Kane.
Yes.
Thank you. Sullivan votes yes. The item passes with 5 or more votes. Next is special reports and announcements. Chancellor Castillo, do you have any special reports or announcements?
I do. Much shorter than last month, I promise. Okay, so we had the annual retiree celebration on February 26th from 10:30 to 1:30 in the Star Ballroom 1 and 2 in the Stephen C. Head PhD Community Building at System Office, the Woodlands. We had, I think, Trustee Kane and Trustee Wilson were there along with you, Chairman, correct? No, I'm not as young as I look, which is one of the jokes that I made at the retiree celebration. Honestly, the events are starting to fuse together. But also one thing that people don't have to be reminded of, but somehow has made itself on my list, is spring break is from March 14th through the 22nd. And we have the employee awards coming up on March 27th from 10 to 2 in the Woodlands Waterway Marriott. And then I just have an introduction to make. Dr. Rigoberto Rincones, if you'll make your way up to the podium, please, while I read your extensive accolades here. So brings nearly 30 years of higher education experience as a faculty member, scholar, and chief academic officer, combining classroom insight with executive leadership. He's guided institutions through accreditation, reaffirmation, and advanced collaborative models that strengthen transfer pathways, workforce readiness, and measurable student achievement. He has experience leading large-scale initiatives in AI-enabled instruction, academic governance, reform, program alignment, and course redesign. He has served as Vice President for Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer at New Mexico State University's Doña Ana Community College. He has supported more than 200 community colleges as founding National Director of Data Coaching for Achieving the Dream. He holds multiple advanced degrees. He has a PhD with honors in evaluation, measurement, and research from Western Michigan University, a Master of Arts with honors in educational leadership from Western Michigan University, a specialization in Master of Science in Project Management, summa cum laude in engineering from Universidad Católica Andrés Bello de Venezuela, a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from la Universidad Metropolitana. There we go. Metropolitana. It's not easy, guys, to switch languages like that. Respect the range. Venezuela. Venezuela. He's a lifelong coffee enthusiast with roots in coffee cultivation. So welcome to our new Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Dr. Rincones.
Thank you.
Good morning. Buenos dias, Chairman Sullivan, trustees, Chancellor Castillo, colleagues, and distinguished guests. Chancellor Castillo, thank you so much for your warm introduction. Trustees, it's both an honor and a profound responsibility to stand before you today. Chancellor Castillo and Dr. Kishbala, I am deeply grateful for the trust you have placed in me to serve in this important role and such a pivotal time in the life of Lone Star College. Throughout my career, I had the privilege of working alongside more than 200 colleges, as you mentioned, across the country and visiting nearly 100 of their campuses nationwide. In that work, I also had the opportunity to collaborate with some national foundations such as Gates, Lumina, and Kresge, on initiatives to strengthen student success. Now, those experiences have reinforced for me that institutions thrive when mission, leadership, and community are aligned. What is evident here at Lone Star College is something distinctive. There is clarity of mission, strength of purpose, and an unwavering commitment to people. When I learned that Lone Star College has been recognized for 12 consecutive years as a great place to work, I was impressed. Since arriving about 3.5 weeks ago, I understand why. The welcome has been genuine, the culture very collaborative, and the commitment to student success deeply felt. In closing, Chancellor Castillo's call to do the thing, be the bridge, resonates deeply with me. In my role, I look forward to partnering closely with campus presidents and executive leaders to advance academic excellence, strengthen workforce alignment, safeguard accreditation integrity, and thoughtfully integrate artificial intelligence in ways that elevate teaching, learning, and student success. I am also very grateful to now call Texas, and particularly Houston, my permanent home. Mr. Chairman, trustees, chancellor, colleagues, and distinguished guests, thank you for the opportunity to serve. I am ready to do the thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome. Next item on the agenda is Chancellor's Cabinet, Vice Chancellor, Student Success, Gerald Napolis. If you'd please proceed to the podium for your presentation.
Good morning, Chairman Sullivan, members of the board, Chancellor Castillo. At Lone Star College, student success is not simply a goal. It is a system-wide responsibility that requires clear strategy, strong partnerships, and disciplined execution. Every process we design and every improvement we make must help students move forward and complete their educational journeys. Today, I will briefly highlight how our teams across Lone Star College are advancing the work. Our efforts, our focus is dedicated to ensuring our work is measured and tracked, strengthening partnerships that improve processes, strengthening the systems that support service delivery, and removing barriers so students can succeed. Our work aligns closely with the strategic goals of Lone Star College and reflects the scale of serving more than 90,000 students. The focus is not simply activity, but measurable outcomes that improve the student experience and support persistence and completion. Goal 2 focuses on leading in academic excellence, ensuring students begin their educational journey with strong programs and clear academic pathways that support persistence and completion. Goal 4 focuses on creating connections that serve as bridges to prosperity, helping students translate their education into meaningful career and workforce opportunities. Dr. Rincones talked about do the thing and be the bridge. As the chancellor said in his email on Friday, February 20th, this is not necessarily the board's goals. These are not the chancellor's goals, but this is the work that we do as part of Lone Star College. To accomplish this work, our teams across the system focused on do the thing and be the bridge. We ensure that the work is real and in front of us, and that's why we have access to the KPIs. Lone Star College continues to monitor key metrics, including enrollment trends, financial aid timelines, advising engagements, and student outcomes so that our decisions are informed by data rather than assumptions. Each KPI is assigned to a cabinet member who serves as its steward, ensuring accountability and continued progress in supporting student success. Even though we have 5 years to reach our goals, we have made some tremendous progress because we are focused and we see the work that we're doing and the work that we can be doing. Houston Guided Pathway Success is a strong example of how institutions across the Houston region are working together to strengthen student pathways and improve student outcomes. This collaboration allows students to share practices and coordinate strategies to better support students. And so even though we are Lone Star College, we work with our partners and peers across the Beltway and across the state and across the nation. If you remember, Achieving the Dream is a national network of community colleges. Lone Star College received national recognition from this organization for the progress we are making in strengthening student success strategies and institutional practices, specifically in the categories that you see above. This recognition reflects the commitment of our teams across the institution to continuously improve how we support students. We also rely on national research tools such as the Community College Survey of Student Engagement SESI, and the Survey of Entering Student Engagement, SENSE. These surveys provide direct feedback from students about their experiences with advising, faculty interaction, academic challenge, and the support they receive from the college. Because hundreds of community colleges participate, the results allow us to benchmark our performance against peer institutions and identify opportunities for improvement. The following two slides talks about the STAR Award by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. I know we talked about it previously, but I wanted to spend some time on the slides. I won't read them to you, but if you see the highlights, these are some of the great things that we're doing. Not any individual department or any one campus, but a collection of team members and partners across Lone Star College. As you remember, and for those that don't know, we are one of 6 institutions that received this award. And so for each award, there were a university winner as well as a community college winner. And so Jamie Posey, who's the Associate Vice Chancellor of Student Success and Completion, presented a poster presentation in the fall, and I followed up with a presentation to the coordinating board. They are very impressed with the work that Lone Star College is doing, and they said, we get it. This is what we need to do, not only to make sure that our students are successful, but make sure that we're doing what we need to elevate, educate, and then create that workforce pipeline and make sure that people are in the pipeline. And as you can see, some of the work that we have done continues to be improved with our new KPIs. We applied for and received on the first attempt the Vera Award, recognizing the work for our veterans and our veteran students' dependents. Very excited for the work, and under the direction of Vicki Johnson and formerly with Dr. Ashley Resendez, we wanted to make sure that our veteran students and their dependents were receiving the help. And with the commitment of the chancellor and the board and Dr. Bien, we have a new position with Dr. Yebra, Lieutenant Colonel Yebra, leading and expanding the roles that we have, not just here, but across the nation. Very excited to talk about the student experience. So financial aid was an opportunity to check out the call center and see how we were doing. And so we engaged in an agreement with an outside source that also measures the customer satisfaction of private universities and some business entities. And overall, we received 4.3 out of 5 stars in the most simple terms. So the response rate target was 18%. We received 20%. So we're doing better in making sure that our students who are calling in for help receive the help that they need. And we're going to continue to expand that under Associate Vice Chancellor Garth Howard to make sure that the services are consistent across Lone Star College. Financial aid engagement and interventions. You remember from the Chancellor's Season 1 and Season 2, talking about the goals and reducing the number of days to measure a SAP appeal related to financial aid students who don't meet satisfactory academic progress. So we've created some additional opportunities, making sense financial literacy, SAP check-ins. So we are more proactive in the front end to make sure that students are successful. And on the right screen, you can see some of the benefits. In addition to reducing the time to consider an appeal, we now give students more money. And in fact, in December, we awarded them almost $8 million in TPEG funds. What a great time to do it right before the holidays, but also to help them with the spring semester. We also have focused on parenting students, and we also focus on other groups too. But with Dr. Resendez's focus and the state emphasis on making sure that there's more support for parenting students, we want to make sure that all the groups that we have get the attention that they need so they can be successful. So student success designed to last. We're strengthening persistence through targeted interventions, optimize institutional aid with fiscal discipline, sustain services quality during peak demands, advance state performance and equity benchmarks, and build a coordinated system for sustained student outcomes. In closing, the work underway across Lone Star College reflects the commitment of many teams across this institution who share the similar objective, helping students move forward and succeed. With continued collaboration, strong systems, the chancellor and the board's leadership and support, we will continue improving the processes and services that allow students to access opportunity, complete their programs, and contribute to the workforce and communities we serve. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, sir. Before you leave, I'll ask trustees if they have any questions or comments. Trustee Vogt?
No.
Okay. Trustee Wilson?
Thank you for your presentation. And I just want to thank you for just focusing on students because that's important. That's who we need to be focused on. And so I just thank you for you and your team's work and focusing on it.
Thank you.
ma'am.
Trustee Saldivar? Trustee Mesa? Trustee Kane?
Just to echo what Trustee Wilson said, thanks so much for your report today. Incredibly important. Thank you.
Trustee Murillo?
Yes, I'd like to echo that as well. And clearly your experience and your insights and knowledge all this time at Lone Star College has been incredible and you get the benefit from it. So just want to mention that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And let me just close with saying that when I sat in this chair in particular, I made it well known that my sole focus is student success. And the administration, the system was already going down that path. I just wanted people to know from the board's perspective that we are absolutely focused on student success. So thank you. Appreciate everyone that has a part in that. Chancellor?
Chair, this is Trustee Stoma. I have no comment either, other than Dr. Napoles. I wish you good luck, sir, in your new endeavors.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let me apologize for not calling you a new trustee Stoma. That was not intentional. I apologize. Chancellor.
Yeah, so Dr. Napoles, this is obviously your last meeting here as a vice chancellor at our institution. And so I asked the chairman for just a couple minutes to recognize you. And I'm going to tell just a real brief story about Dr. Napoles when that sort of really is the man that he is and how I'm going to remember you professionally, because you will not be abandoning our friendship. When you were the president of North Harris, I had just become the COO right around the time that Hurricane Harvey hit, and we transformed the gym there into a shelter for folks. And I'll never forget this, that Dr. Napoles, Dr. Napoles went to go get food to feed these folks. We had about 400 families in this shelter. And Dr. Napoles said, I'm going to go get some food for these folks. You figure out to me how we're going to cook it. And I said, okay. I said, yes, sir. And so we open up the cafeteria and Dr. Napoles shows up with not ramen, not rice, but like it must have been like 500 steaks. And I remember asking him, like, where did you get all these steaks from? And the idea that he brought steaks, and let me be really clear, the college did not pay for that. This man paid for that out of his own pocket. And then so he shows up with these steaks and we didn't have a grill or anywhere to cook them. And so I'm just kind of staring at him, simultaneously thinking to myself, what a great man to have brought steaks for complete strangers. And then what were you thinking? How are we going to cook them? And so I'll tell you how we ended up cooking them. We used a toaster oven, one of those that goes where you put it on and it sort of goes through and it comes back around. And we can now tell you that how many times you go around for medium rare, for medium. Because that was the other thing, is people were walking up, we were actually taking orders. How would you like your steak? And then people would see it go on the toaster. And it was one of my favorite memories in the almost 11 years that we've worked together. You know, you started a month before I did. I started in August of 2015. I believe you started in July. And our sort of third musketeer was Chief Willingham, who also started at that time. And it's just been an absolute blessing to work with you and to know you. And I'm so incredibly happy that you are getting exactly what you wanted, which is to be the executive vice president and COO at a new institution, and their gain is very much our loss. You will be missed, Gerald. Thank you so much for 11 years of dedication and friendship.
Thank you, sir.
Great job, Chancellor. Thank you for those comments. Next item on the agenda is Faculty Representative, Professor Martha Donnelly. If you'd please proceed to the podium for your presentation. Good morning.
Good morning, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Castillo. My name is Martha Donnelly, and I am the current faculty representative, former faculty senate president for University Park. Today on your consent agenda, you will be addressing, hopefully approving an item that would look at the structure of the faculty council, which we are calling the former faculty senate as the faculty council, moving it to the chancellor's procedures. We recognize in approving this policy change, this puts great trust in us to develop a faculty structure that not only complies with the law, but also builds and strengthens our or our institution. I'm hoping to show you what we have come up with, just to show you that trust in us is well-founded. To start, the law said that we had to come up with a new structure for our faculty senate. And we wanted this opportunity to not only comply with the law, but maybe come up with something that would be even better than what we currently had. What we currently had was working, and it was working well. But since we have to restructure anyway, let's look and see if there's something that we could do even better. So we went back to the start, and we went back to faculty. All of us went back to the faculty on our campuses. We held faculty forums, and we listened to the voice of what the faculty wanted. The faculty had different ideas, but most resoundingly said that we want more representation, more voice on a faculty council. So we had 3 options that the faculty across the system at every campus voted for. The one that won is the one that you're seeing here. So in compliance with the law, but also giving us more faculty voice in our faculty council, each campus will elect 2 representatives. And then we have 1 that's appointed per law by the chancellor, aptly named the sacrificial lamb. So it would be total of 17 members. We have designed a 2-tier approach. On 1 tier, we have the executive representative, and then we have also an associate representative would come from each campus. Those 2 are elected. So the executive representative is similar to what we have now. They are looking at attending the Board of Trustees meeting as we currently do, presenting at the Board of Trustees meetings as we currently do. They will be meeting with System Office Administration, the Academic Affairs Vice Chancellors, the Student Success Vice Chancellors, Chancellor Castillo will be meeting with them still. But they also are campus liaisons. So they're taking what's coming from the campus to these system-wide meetings. It's also, they're attending the faculty council meetings regularly, and then serving or attending meetings with campus leadership. The associate representative is primarily on campus. So they are attending meetings with campus leadership along with the executive representative. They are helping co-chair the faculty forums that will be going on to get the faculty voice still. And then just serving as a liaison to different committees and things like that on the campus. The appointed executive rep will be primarily, they're still attending Board of Trustees meetings, the faculty council meetings, they're full faculty council member, but this person would also be doing the logistics as required by law. Live streaming, coordinating the live streaming of the meetings, coordinating the agendas, being out 7 days ahead, things like that the law requires. Also in the law, the presiding officers of the faculty council, this is going to be a system-wide faculty council. So right now, each campus has a faculty senate that has come together as a system-wide faculty council. So the presiding officers, the president, the vice president, and the secretary would be appointed by the chancellor. We are recommending that they come from the elected members of the faculty council. So each member of the faculty council that's voted in by the campuses serves a 2-year term. Then by law, they have to wait out 2 years before they can serve again. The appointed member serves a 1-year term, but they can serve up to 6 1-year terms. Also with the law, in compliance with the law, we would have open meetings. They would be live streamed with agendas publicly posted, 7 days, and then the attendance and votes recorded by the faculty council members. So each campus, we're still looking at the faculty voice. The faculty are the driving push of everything that goes to faculty council. So on each campus, we are still having faculty forums where all faculty can attend. They can give their opinions on different issues. They can bring new issues to light. Things like that would then be taken to the faculty council. And then the faculty council, whatever that comes out of the system leadership meetings, the campus leadership meetings, that goes back to the faculty during those faculty forums. So it's a two-way street. So we're hoping with this that it not only complies fully with the law, which we are hoping to do, but also it strengthens our relationship between faculty and administration, both on the campus and at the system level. We want to strengthen the communication and we want to strengthen that relationship so that we in turn build the strength of the institution for our students. So up next, after the board approves the change, then we will have the new structure put into the chancellor's procedures. We are currently organizing the elections on each campus, trying to coordinate those and get those done so that this can start in fall 2026. After that, when it starts, then they'll draft and ratify a new constitution. So I appreciate your trust in us. The faculty appreciate your trust in us to allow us to do this from the faculty voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Donnelly, and I'll see if anyone has questions. Trustee Stomas?
Professor Donnelly, certainly you guys have given a lot of thought into this, and the law that's driving this is certainly you're compelled to essentially align with the law, of course.
Yes, sir.
What, from a lay perspective, what advantages do you see in this new approach versus your current or previous approach?
I think the advantage to having more faculty members on the faculty council, it gives different perspectives. So one person to bring the perspective of the whole campus to a meeting, it's doable, it's possible, we have shown that, but it is a little bit difficult. So we can have different perspectives if we have more people there.
Granted. Do you see this in your process? Let me go back. In your process, how do you see keeping the board informed as to the activities of the faculty. I know this is an administrative function, but by and large, we're supportive. I don't think there's every board member here is supportive of what you're doing. And certainly we're interested. You have these forums, at each board meeting or to come to report. Are there any other radiators perhaps that'll be visible to not only us, but the public to show your progress?
Well, the minutes will be published. They're supposed to be open meetings, so they will be published, but we will also continue to do presentations to the board monthly.
Okay. And in those presentations, certainly you'll, in consultation with the chancellor, of course, note any concerns or issues that we should be aware of, I would think.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Murillo, any questions? Trustee Kane, Trustee Mesa, Trustee Saldivar, Trustee Wilson, Trustee Vogt.
I just had one. Where do you stand with coordinating with your with the okay.
Who's talking about with the faculty?
No, with our
colleagues?
the
With the law?
With the AFT?
yes.
Well, I think that in the past, we have met with the AFT when there's an issue that has come up that kind of is pretty big. We have met before with Dr. Burdoff in the AFT, but it's kind of, I would say that it's going to be just, it's not a formal coordination, but it is as needed coordination. Dr. Burdoff is faculty as well as the other members of AFT. They are faculty. They're not all faculty, but there are faculty in there. So, and each campus has an AFT representative that is faculty. So I think there is a lot of coordination just being who we are.
This is Trustee Stoma again. I just have to comment. The AAT members, for whatever their reasons, are members, but they're also a subset of the faculty, as you just pointed out. It's important, and the chancellor emphasizes this in his approach to administration and management, that collaboration is extremely important. The different viewpoints of different issues, like academic freedom and other key issues, need to be shared and openly debated and discussed in order to come up with the right conclusions, if you will, for this faculty. So I would encourage you, to work closely together. I mean, there's no formal recognition one way or the other. You're all faculty. But by and large, in any type of government organization, the representative should be in tune with the voters, the people who they represent, and be able to not only hear and understand the different viewpoints, but also collaborate and be able to represent those, throughout their, how shall I say, governance structure. So I encourage you guys to work together. I think there's a lot of good synergy here. Like you said, you're all faculty, but there shouldn't be I can tell you, back in my day when I was an instructor, there was a lot of, how shall I say, competition. Let's put it nicely. There should not be that competition. There should be open collaboration. And I would think both sides would open themselves to that and be amenable to listen and to discuss, per academic freedom, if nothing else. So I encourage your work. I mean, I'm not discouraging your work at all. I'm just saying work together collaboratively.
Yes, sir.
Chairman,
Thank
can I be
you.
recognized?
Yes, Chair recognizes the Chancellor.
Thank you. So let me address some of the comments that the trustees have made. So first of all, let's start with the action item, right? There's action item number 14 is the board essentially empowering the chancellor's office and the administration to carry out these procedures that Professor Donnelly has been referencing. And I just want to take a second to tell you about how collaborative this process has been. So first of all, the faculty members over here on the left, the faculty representatives, have been working incredibly hard, including, by the way, over the summer. This is how serious they took this, that we had meetings over the summer, which is usually a very sort of quiet time for most, not all faculty, over the summer, and they made it a priority to meet over the summer. And so they've been working really hard on drafting essentially 3 versions of this. So the one that Dr. Donnelly presented is 16+1. Then we took the unusual step. I don't think this has ever happened as far as I can remember, where we emailed all full-time faculty, and all full-time faculty got to vote
Yes.
in which model they wanted. And then I think there was even like a runoff at some point.
Yes.
Okay, so we did it twice. And then once all of the faculty essentially that voted in favor of one of these models, then that draft was taken, given to the Office of the General Counsel. Does this comply with SB 37? Yes, it does. After that, it went then to all of the college presidents and Executive Vice Chancellor of Academics, Dr. Kishvala, for their modification. But I think one of the key things to keep in mind here that I believe is unique across the state of Texas is that Lone Star College, the faculty drafted the first draft. We did not draft the draft and say, here you go, give us your feedback, because that is part of shared governance, is the faculty get to draft it, and then we will sort of weigh in on that draft. So the presidents had, I think, 2 very minor, almost Scrivener type changes. We reviewed them yesterday or 2 days ago with the faculty. They're aware of that. So if the board approves the action item today, we are ready to then post the procedures that we've all agreed to for comment. And at that time, then Professor Bergdorf and the AFT or anybody, because we notify the whole system, can then comment on the proposed procedures, and then we will take that up. And just so everyone knows, Professor Bergdorf and I meet at least once a month, and so he gets an audience as well to weigh in on behalf of the AFT. So I would challenge anyone to find a more collaborative process for complying with SB 37's faculty council meetings than we have had at Lone Star College. So thank you to everyone. I know it's been work. I'm not going to say a labor of love, but it's been a lot of work for the last 8 or 9 months. And so it really is a really collaborative approach. And like anything, any good compromise, not everyone is happy. And so thank you to all of the faculty and the administrators and everyone who's played a part in that. But I just really wanted to address that, Chairman. Thank you. It's been an incredibly collaborative approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, Ms. Donnelly. Next on the agenda is board members. So trustees, do you have any special reports or announcements? I'm going to go out of order and give the floor to Trustee Mesa for a moment.
Thank you, Chair. I have the honor of doing a special report, and I want to congratulate Lone Star College's Engage the Electorate civic engagement program for successfully taking over 30 students, I believe, 32 students to DC, bringing them all back safe and sound. My understanding is that for several of these students, it was the first time leaving Houston. Is that correct for some of y'all? First time on a plane for anybody? Yeah, okay, that's really cool. And so, let me offer a summary so that everybody knows exactly what happened out there. So Lone Star College's DC Civic Engagement Student Learning Experience brought our mission of transformational opportunities to life by providing a high-impact, hands-on experience with no meaningful financial burden to students. So everything was covered except for, I don't know if the students here today, but there was a student that liked to collect bobbleheads. And so I don't think Lone Star covered that. And I asked the student, I was like, what did that run you, like $10? And they said, no, like 30. And I said, oh, wow. The inaugural cohort of 32 students, 28 first-generation college students, like myself, 25 Pell Grant recipients represented all 8 campuses, included traditional and non-traditional students, international students, honors, and Phi Theta Kappa members, workforce students, political science majors, like myself, selected through a blind competitive process from among nearly 300 applications. Participants reflected the diversity, ambition, and promise of Lone Star College. The experience was intentionally designed to ensure that access to high-impact hands-on learning experiences outside of Texas was not limited to those in exclusive programs, but open to all students ready to grow across our amazing system. Organized by Professor Corey Colby from the Tomball campus, Dr. Cassandra Khatri from the University Park campus, support from Ms. Jerry Marquez, the amazing Jerry Marquez, I may add, led with the help of Dr. Ralph Angeles from North Harris, Mr. Philip Chartrand, Lone Star Tomball, and Dr. Mark Thorsby from Sci-Fair. The program connected classroom learning. So it wasn't a vacation either for them. I found out they had homework assignments due at the end of each day, right? So it was not a vacation by any means. And I'm sure the board would love to hear perhaps the findings or the feedback or, you know, some of the reflections that the students offered throughout this trip. And we connected classroom learning to living institutions of the U.S. government, history, public policy. Students engaged directly with leaders, some Congress people, visited sites where decisions shaping our country are made, you know, for good and for bad, began envisioning new pathways for transfer internships, public service, civic leadership. Maybe we have a few future elected officials or maybe staff for some of these elected officials in the future. That would be really cool. Conversation shifted from simply observing DC to imagining futures within it, reinforcing the powerful idea that when students can see themselves in spaces of influence, they can begin to claim a seat at the table, begin improving the table, or so to speak, improving our country. And who knows, maybe take over the table, so to speak, or take over power. I think we need some more young people making important decisions, if I may say that. So we have some students here today. If y'all may stand, if y'all don't mind just standing so y'all can be recognized if y'all joined us on the trip. Thank you. And to conclude, we have 3 brave students that are going to be coming up and speaking, sharing their experience, their feedback, their perspectives, something from the heart. So if I may call up our first brave soul, Mr. Jeremy Thomas. You have the podium.
Good morning, Chairman Sullivan, Chancellor Castillo, and Board of Trustees. My name is Jeremy Thomas, and I'm one of the 32 students who were selected for the LSC Civic Engagement trip in DC. As a self-supported lower-income student, the opportunity to travel to DC is not one I would have gotten any other way. As for the trip, I believe my peers will speak more eloquently than I, but I want to focus on is later. After returning home, my proximity to our government has been further realized and has encouraged me to be more active in it than ever. Empowering me to not only attend local campaign events, but also communicate directly with the people who represent me and my peers. I want to stress the value of this program and programs similar to it, specifically to political science majors like myself, and encourage the board to ensure all programs similar to one, which I recently returned from, continue. I also want to add, it is a great resume builder for us. And I know 2 of us on the trip are now semifinalists for the Jack Kent Cook scholarship. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Our second student, Chris Cortez Vieira, if you would like to come up, please.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Chris, and as an international student, I never thought opportunities like the ones I've been able to enjoy while at LSC were ever a possibility before joining the system. This trip is only one example of all the wonderful things that LSC has done for me and my peers. The level of care and passion that the LSC team put into this trip and other opportunities like this are palpable and never fail to amaze me. Students feel your focus on our success. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, truly, and for never failing to turn my dreams into realities throughout my academic journey. This trip not only represented an exploration of my academic path, but a new way of viewing the world. Please consider continuing expanding opportunities like this as they have a real and lasting impact on students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. And our last brave soul, Miss Bree Brown, if you'd like to come up, please. Thank you.
I didn't think I'd be nervous, but now it just hit me. Okay, good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm Bree Brown. As a 29-year-old woman who returned to collegiate education after a 10-year career in behavioral health, I truly did not expect to have a traditional college experience. Yet, what I found at Lone Star College was the perfect landing. From the professors who felt handpicked for me, to civic engagement opportunities that challenged my thinking beyond the classroom assignments, I am so full of gratitude. The Lone Star College civic engagement trip to Washington, D.C. allowed me to explore the structures, both physical and systemic, that uphold our democracy. It is imperative to know where we come from so we know more intentionally where we're going and how to direct it. While in Washington, D.C., I stood in spaces once occupied by women who looked like me, women whose labor helped build this nation, yet who had no power to determine their own futures. Our visits included Monticello, Mount Vernon, and others, and government buildings constructed and sustained by enslaved people. And that history was not abstract, it was present, it was heavy, and it was instructive. To be able to exist in the same spaces today as a Black woman with agency over my education and my voice was sobering and empowering. It deepened my understanding of civic responsibility and reinforced why access to education and experimental learning matters. In a society that often questions those who color outside the lines or who have the audacity to restart their lives and change course, Lone Star College, through its professors, staff, and leadership, has done the opposite. You have encouraged my grit. To the board and Lone Star College system, I urge you to continue supporting and expanding civic engagement opportunities through both action and funding. These experiences affirm to students that their hard work is valuable, that their stories belong in these spaces, and that Lone Star College is actively invested in our success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bree and Jeremy and Chris for coming up and sharing your perspective and your thoughts and your call to action with us. Thank you again to all the students and amazing professors who helped organize this. I work in a public school district myself, and we've taken students to DC, so it's fun, you know, it's really fun. And so I'll finish with this. I hope maybe to see some of y'all students here, up here, you know, looking in the direction I'm looking at in the future. Y'all can have my seat if y'all want it, 2030. All right. So thank you again. And thank you, Chair, for allowing this space. Thanks so much.
I don't usually make comments after something like that, but I want to take a moment. We've talked about a lot today, student success. And you look at what you just heard, you look at the students, you listen to the trustee who is living proof, all of us up here, of having to run for office. And some people think, well, it's because you get a title or a free lunch, whatever case may be. But I think this is what it's really about, or at least for this body, for my colleagues up here. This is why we do what we do. I reminded myself of the meal vouchers we now have, Special Olympics, recognizing those athletes and their families. And the chancellor stepped forward when he noticed their tattered uniforms. He got them new uniforms. So another one is just the civic engagement as well. So it's not lost on me or anyone on this board what we really do. And we do a lot, and we don't do it ourselves. I want to be clear about that, but we're part of the process that enables it all to happen. So to everyone up here, I want to say thank you for what you do. I have my particular field I like to focus. We all do. And collectively, we're making a difference. So hats off to everyone. Trustee Mesa, Colby is a Professor Colby, is that right? Professor Colby, thank you. And please extend our appreciation to all the other adults that were on the trip, any of the other sponsors as well. Chancellor, this is clearly a home run and something that we hope gets a high priority in the future as well. So thank you. We'll now go back to board. Let's see, trustees, special reports or announcements by trustees. Since I started on the left, I'll stay on the left. Trustee Murillo. No, just comments. No committee reports, just comments.
Yeah, no, thank you. Just a couple of things. Well, first of all, I also want to express how wonderful it was to get a chance to witness such wonderful, some incredible young students that joined us that went on this trip. We happened to be there for the conference that we attend. When we go to this conference, which is called the National Legislative Summit for us, which is Association of Community College Trustees, we get a lot of valuable updates on federal policy and issues affecting community colleges across the nation. And knowing that simply hearing from you guys kind of made it much more critical, this trip for us, because it has real consequences what we do and what community colleges do across the country. We had the opportunity to meet with members and staff from a region's congressional staff, and some of you had a chance to do that, and to share the important role community colleges play in workforce development, student success, economic mobility. We definitely need ambassadors or people who spread that message. So you guys are doing great. So that, for me, one of the highlights was getting a chance to listen to some of you all and to actually travel and enjoy kind of the tour. That was nice. So you all part of the team that we get to do the thing right together. So congratulations.
Thank you. Trustee Kane.
Thank you, Chair. I had the pleasure last week of attending the retiree celebration. It was a great event. In addition to the Chancellor's remarks, we heard from Carolyn Donovan about alumni relations and how that whole process is growing. And also Nicole Deshay about the Education Foundation. So between the Chancellor, Ms. Donovan, and Ms. Gaucher, it was great to hear all the great things that are happening. And I know that it was a pleasure to go around and visit with a number of the retirees and listen to the stories that they had. So many positive stories about their years at Lone Star College. So it was a great event.
Thank you. Trustee Saldivar.
Thank you, Chairman. I do have just a comment. I had the pleasure of attending a tour last month. It has not through the university to Lone Star College, but it was through my personal work. And I attended the Ismaili Center tour. Ismaili Center, not Ismaili Center. This was last month. It was a wonderful place. a wonderful center. I highly advise folks, if you have the opportunity to please, tour that place. It's the place of worship. It's just, it's incredible. One of the things that I really admired is their, proactiveness in highlighting education. And so one of the things that they have is at the end of the tour, they have a huge wall, and they call it the Wall of Education of Excellence. It's a huge wall, and in the wall, they have images of all the universities, all the colleges throughout not only Texas but throughout the world. And I was looking to see if we had any students in attending Lone Star College. Guess what? We do. We have students who are part of the Ismaili Center that attend Lone Star College. It's a number of students there, and so they're so proud of our college that decided to put the emblem of Lone Star College there in the Wall of Excellence. And so, if you have the opportunity to tour, it's open to anyone. Please do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Stoma, any comments, special reports or announcements?
I have none. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wilson.
First off, as we end Black History Month, we're coming into Women's History Month, and so happy Women's History Month to all the women out there, because that's what we do. And I had the pleasure of attending the retiree luncheon. It was great to see all the seemingly happy faces to be going somewhere else or doing something different. I think it's a different feeling when you retire, because it's like you've done your work, and you know what I'm saying, and now you're being celebrated for it. So I appreciate the chancellor for doing the luncheon for them. It was really, really good. I also attended the ACCT in DC. I went before the group because I'm a part of the governance and bylaws committee, and that was really a great committee. It was very welcoming to be a part of a national group, and for them to actually be like, "Oh, you're from Lone Star, you're from Houston," so it just made me feel good, because I think people really, really are starting to recognize us, right? And I also attended other meetings, and then we did the tour with Congressman Latrell, who's the Sci-Fair representative, and it was an awesome tour, y'all. He's great, and so he really rolled out the red carpet for not just the trustees and the chancellor and the cabinet, but the students that were there on the tour. About 2.5 hours, right, Trustee Maria? Chancellor, 2.5 hours, right? And we were down deep, y'all. I'm telling you, it was beautiful. And I just appreciate his time, because as a congressman and as somebody who's an elected official, people often look at you like, oh, they don't have time for me. But he did, and it was really, really, I was grateful for it, because I never had that kind of red carpet rollout from a congressperson, right? And we also were able to go into the balcony. They were on break, but they were actually, on break from debating and on the floor. So I'm just grateful for the opportunities that are not just being afforded to the students, but also to us as trustees, to where we be able to go and talk to our representatives that represent Lone Star, to talk to them and say, hey, listen, so we can get on the same page, you know what I'm saying, for our students. So I'm just grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Vogt, any special reports or announcements?
Does this work now? Okay. They told me when I came in, I got here early, that they had it shut off all the way around here. And I never touched the button again. To the students that went to DC, and I'm kind of at a loss. I guess it's my age that I've seen a lot of changes in the world. This Lone Star was one of the good ones. And you are charged with a lot because we've left things in pretty bad shape right now, I think. And I would I'd hand you the reins and wish you well. Good luck.
Thank you, Trustee Vogt.
Thank you.
I have two comments. One, I want to thank Trustee Saldivar in her role as vice chair for conducting last month's board meeting in my absence while I was out of town on business. I really appreciate that. It's good to know that we all work together and are here to support each other. I also want to report on Lone Star College Foundation, which I am fortunate to be a representative representing the board. Lone Star College Foundation is pleased to announce that 3 leaders from Houston Methodist will co-chair this year's Star Gala. They are Carrie Guerrero, Caroline Mascarenas from the Cypress Hospital, and Carrie Guerrero is from the Woodlands Hospital, Nicole Twine from the Willowbrook Hospital. All 3 serve as Houston Methodist Vice President and Chief Nursing Officer at their respective hospitals. Star Gala will take place at the Woodlands Waterways Marriott, and sponsorships and tickets are now available through the Lone Star College Foundation. The event raises funds for student scholarships and programs at Lone Star College, and this year's event will also feature the presentation of the inaugural Lone Star College Alumni Awards. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I had one more report, if that's okay with you.
Sure. We're going to go to committee reports next.
No, it's just a community.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yesterday I attended a meeting, this panel discussion was the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the NAEP. The meeting here. The government board had their March quarterly meeting, and they're the ones who oversee what they call the nation's report card. For those of you that are familiar with that. And Dr. Michelle Cantu Wilson, who's our colleague, who is trustee over at San Jacinto Community College. She's on that board, and then she hosted this event. So the panel discussion, highlighted the importance of looking at data and how to work with the college, the schools and the colleges can work together. And they promoted and the meeting. A little bit more background on this organization. The group is they used to set policy for the NAEP, which the ones that select subjects to be tested and identify learning objectives. So when over at the college, at the public school districts, trustees, and I remember all this terminology and all that was kind of ringing a bell. I remember all that. I got to see some of my former colleagues there. At the school district level, but the promoting the benefits of evidence-based strategies and to raise the bar for academic success. So the highlight for me was understanding that moving forward, I mean, so many changes. They talked a little bit about the legislation and the changes, both at the school district level and higher ed. The importance of collaborating, working together, that it is a team effort, naturally,
And then I think the takeaway for me was keep an eye on the data, keep an eye on the trends, and then always stay ahead of what changes are coming up. So I just wanted to report on that. Thanks.
Good. Thank you. Since you have the microphone, we'll
Sure.
go ahead and move into committee reports, and you are chair of our Chancellor Goals and Evaluation Committee. So you have the floor.
Thank you. Okay, I gotta look for my notes. Here you go. Okay, so it's brief. Update regarding the Chancellor's annual performance review process. Last year, our committee, the Goals and Evaluation Committee, established a structured evaluation process and timeline for the Chancellor's annual review. And to begin this year's cycle, the Goals and Evaluation Committee will be meeting next week to initiate the process outlined in that framework. The committee will review the evaluation timeline and begin preparations for the 2025-26 Chancellor Performance Evaluation. So now we will continue coordinating with the board chair and we will keep the full board informed as the process moves forward. And of course, our board council also will be working with us on that. So that's my report.
Okay, sounds good. And Trustee Murillo, are you moving toward a date for a committee meeting?
Yeah, yes, next Thursday or Friday.
Okay, good.
So
Very good. Thank you very much. Next committee is policy review. Trustee Saldivar.
Yes, sir. So the Policy Review Committee met this month. It continues to work on both board proposed policies, administration proposed policies, and policy changes that arose from the 89th legislature. The PRC met on February 18th to consider various policy revisions. Today, the PRC presents for the board consideration action items 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 regarding Senate Bill 37, compliance, faculty council compliance, employee department tuition waivers, non-solicited title, the department updates, as well as updates to the notice language to meet House Bill 1522. The PRC will continue its work with additional policy revisions and expects to have more revisions next board meeting.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Saldivar. Next committee is grievance. Trustee Wilson. Okay, thank you. Next committee is Committee on Committees. Trustee Kane.
No report this month.
Thank you. Next committee is Community Engagement. We're going to skip over that. Mesa's had enough time, so. Okay, go ahead, sir. If you have anything else.
Can I do my technology committee report? Okay.
Actually, it's yes. You're next, so sure, you bet.
See, I anticipated that.
Okay.
And I'll make it quick, Chair. Don't worry. I want to congratulate the team and just on the scoreboard. I think and Dr. Napoles shared it on the screen here earlier, just in time for the World Cup. So I'm sure that, and this is something, if you don't mind, Chancellor, this is something that's public, accessible to everybody at the institution.
Yes, sir.
There was another sports metaphor as well, right? Besides the scoreboard, was there another one?
Yeah, so the scoreboard is how we're going to keep score, and then the game is what is going to be announcing, which is LSC aligned, and that's how we're basically going to know the plays that people are calling in order to move those initiatives forward. So it's a two-part plan to roll that out. Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope I didn't ruin the surprise, but
no, it's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Trustee Mesa. Next is Appraisal District Matters. Trustee Kane.
No report.
Okay, thank you. And last is Audit and Finance Committee. The Audit and Finance Committee met on December 10th, 2025 to review the fiscal year 2025 annual comprehensive financial report prior to submission to the state. Per board policy, appointed board committees, the Audit and Finance Committee recommended action on the annual audit report to the Board of Trustees annually, no later than the March regular board meeting. That will be done today. As required by board policy, the external auditing firm is present today. They'll present the ACFR to the full board. You'll hear from them during Dr. Vian's monthly financial report. The ACFR and audit were finalized on December 30th. Each of the board members have received a final bound copy of the 2025 ACFR, which is in front of you. It also contains the independent auditor's report. And that's all we have on board committee reports, today. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. We'll now move forward with the consideration of our consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled for discussion and separate consideration? I'll go virtual first. Trustee Stoma?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Vogt, anything to pull? Thank you. Trustee Wilson?
No.
Thank you. Trustee Saldivar? Thank you. Trustee Mesa?
No, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Kane?
No.
Thank you. Trustee Murillo?
No.
Thank you. And I do not have anything to pull myself, but for the record, I want to again repeat that the administration has pulled item number 9. Is that correct, Chancellor?
Yes, sir, we've withdrawn it.
Okay, thank you very much. There are no items to be pulled, so the following items will be voted on. Items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. May I have a motion to approve those items? I have a motion by Trustee Wilson. May I have a second? Have a second by Trustee Saldivar. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll now do a roll call vote. Trustee Saldivar?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Stoma?
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Mesa?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Murillo?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Vogt? Thank you. Trustee Kane?
Yes.
Thank you. Sullivan votes yes. The item passes. Next item on the agenda is financial report. Dr. Vian, if you'd please proceed. I think you have several items today, so the floor will be yours until you say you're done.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
Okay,
that.
yes, ma'am.
Good morning, trustees, chair. Thank you. So to begin our financial report this month, we have our financial statements for month ending January 30th, 2026. You can see as reported that we have received $411 million in total revenue received through the 5th month of our 12-month reporting period. Taking a look at expenditures, our total expenditures through January 31st are currently at 182 for month ending January. And again, that represents 34.3% of our total month of expenditures, or total budget expenditures, excuse me. When you're taking a look at the year-over-year comparisons here, you can see again, as of the 548 total budgeted revenue, we have received $411 million to date. Again, that's 74.9% of budgeted revenue. So we are definitely on track to meet the budgeted revenue projections for the total year ending in August. Looking at expenditures, when we're looking at the expenditures and again comparing year over year, we are at 34.3% of total expenditures related to budget. While revenues are tracking where they're supposed to be, expenditures are actually tracking a little bit below comparative years. And again, compared to the same time in previous years. So again, we've only expended 34.3% of the total budgeted expenditures through January 31. Taking a look at the financial statements, there is no significant variance to report related to revenue at this point. We have received $135,162,794 of tuition revenue. And then state appropriations, again, this is only reflected through January. At the time of the closing of January, we had received 497.22 for state appropriations, and that is of our total 111 million. This does correspond with the fall performance tier accounts, which is 50% of our state funding. The second payment, which you will actually see recognized in next month's report, was actually received on February 25th. I bring that because at the time of the last reporting, we had not received that payment and it was delayed. We did receive 28.4 million for the second reporting period. Again, it's not reflective in your statement, but I did want to make sure that the board had that update that that payment was received, though a little bit later than expected. So you'll see the full recognition of that next month, but wanted to bring that to your attention. Taking a look at expenditures, again, there's no significant variance to report related to expenditures through this reporting period. In the board's packets, you have additional materials related to the balance sheet, the statement of revenues and expenditures for Harvey, the balance sheet, as well as summary of investment returns. I wanted to give you a brief update on Harvey. I know there was questions on this previously. So January of 2025, we did have a responding request for information that we received from FEMA regarding our September submission. Lone Star responded in mid-January and no further response has been received as of yet. In February, we also submitted an additional $2,500 in expenditures for a remaining small project. I have asked the team that works on that to provide me an update to see how much longer we'll continue to try to receive recovered funds for that and bring that to audit and finance for consideration. Taking a look at the reserves, again, as reported, $212 million in reserves. And again, that does not reflect the $101 million worth of board restricted set aside funds. Excuse me. So prior moving on to the Act 4, does the board have any questions for me related to the monthly financials? Okay. All right. Can we get the additional slide deck? Thank you. Oh, thank you. Apologize for that. All right. So again, as Chair Sullivan mentioned, all of the board does have a bound copy of the finalized ACFR and a full letter in your materials. As we go through the ACFR, I will give a summarized statement of the ACFR and allow for questions for the board, and then we'll have the external auditors come up and give their presentation. I always like to remind everybody when it's time to present the ACFR that the ACFR is what has happened in the past. So it is actually a finalization of what occurred in the previous fiscal year. The budget is what we think will happen. The ACFR is what actually happened, and it's basically our presentation to the board and the state of those items. So that's the best simplified explanation as I can present it as to what you will receive today. So again, we're going to briefly go through some definitions so you understand what we're looking at and then go over the highlighted events. So when we talk about the ACFR, the definition of that is an annual comprehensive financial report. It does provide an overview of the financial conditions and operating results of the college or the system for the fiscal year ended August 31st, 2025, along with comparative data from 2024. The report includes three primary financial statements: the statement of net position, the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, and statement of cash flows. These statements present a comprehensive picture of the system's financial health and long-term sustainability. So as you're looking through the information, again, in addition to that, you also get the independent auditor's report, and that internal control is a financial reporting and compliance related to matters required by the government auditing standards, and it is related to compliance for each major federal and state program in which we must be in compliance with. So as a reminder, the Lone Star College system is a special purpose government engaged in business type activities. That is what we are listed as in terms of an agency. We are a special purpose government only provides limited functions or services. A business type activity is financed in whole or part by charging fees to external parties for goods and services. Lone Star College provides educational services to our community. So in essence, we educate students. That is our product. That is our commodity. And so that is basically why we're defined as such. So when we're looking at the statement of net position, it is a balance sheet for government entities. Really, when we're looking at that, you're looking at our deferred outflows of resources and our deferred inflow of resources. So again, what did we actually spend? What did we receive? That is basically what happened during the past fiscal year. When we're looking at the statement of revenues and expenditures as it relates to changes in net position, what we're looking at is how it illustrates how the system generates revenue, incurs expenses, and ultimately changes its financial standings. So in short, what does it look like year over year, and what were the changes that happened in that year as a result of all the activities that we received? So to give you a high-level example, when we're looking at the system's net position, we had a net position ending August 31st of 2024 of $488 million. When you look at the year ending fiscal 2025, our net income was $163 million. So our ending net position was $655 million as it related to the ACFR for fiscal year 2025. So again, a significant improvement in unrestricted net position, which shifted from 32 million deficit in 2024 to a positive 59 million in 2025. A lot of rationale for that, but majority of that was related to 83 million decrease in bonds payable. So again, a $58 million increase in net investment in capital assets. So in short, the system continues to be in a very sound position, and our net position is moving in a positive direction. When we're looking at the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, for 2025, total revenues increased by 62 million, primarily driven by higher property tax collections and an increased state appropriations. Total expenses increased by 2 million, resulting in a $60 million increase in net position. The decrease in operational revenues is mainly attributed to a decrease in grant funding. Taking a look at the breakdown of total revenues for the college, this just gives you an indication of year over year. The blue is 2025, the red is the previous year of 2024. These percentages represent the actual revenues recognized for the fiscal year, which includes revenues from grants that are not budgeted. Therefore, these will differ from the percentages that we present in the monthly financials. Property taxes continue to be our highest percentage of overall revenues. So in short, typically what you're seeing here is what we would have actually received in grant funding or any other external funding that we do not put as part of the budget process and that are separate from that. So again, this is why the ACFR will differ from what is budgeted and primarily due to grant funding. So when we're looking at a breakdown of total expenses for the college, these percentages represent actual expenses incurred during the fiscal year ending 2025. Instruction expense continues to be our highest percentage of overall expenses. Typically, we use over 100% of our state appropriations for instructional expenses at this time. When we're looking at the statement of cash flows, it highlights the system's liquidity and ability to meet financial obligations. Again, for 2025, the system reported positive cash flows of 132 million, a decrease of 29 million from 2024. This decline was largely attributable to reduced cash flows from investing activities. When we're looking at the independent auditors' reports, the auditors have issued an unmodified opinion, which is the most favorable opinion and indicates that the financial statements presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with the applicable accounting standards. As you will hear from the auditors, we had no significant deficiencies reported for financial statements and no material weaknesses identified. For federal awards, we were also issued an unmodified opinion. There was no significant deficiencies reported. There was one material weakness and instance of non-compliance identified that you'll hear about a little bit more. Regarding state awards, there was an unmodified opinion, and again, no significant deficiencies reported and no material weaknesses identified. Now, prior to me introducing our external auditing partners, I'm happy to answer any of the board's questions or defer those to the end of the presentation.
Okay, thank you. Let's stop now since you just completed that. We'll start on the left, trustee Mesa, trustee Murillo, trustee Kane, trustee Mesa, trustee Saldivar, trustee Wilson, trustee Vogt, and trustee Stolman. Any questions at this point?
No, I just want to say good job. Excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. As part of our today's agenda, representative from our independent external auditing firm, Forbes Mazars, are present to provide the results of the audit for system fiscal year 2025 annual comprehensive report. So here with us today, we have Angie Dunlap, audit partner. Angie is an audit partner with Forbes Mazars and brings more than 34 years of auditing experience to governmental and nonprofit organizations, and she serves as the Houston's office market sector leader and is an active member of the firm's public sector Center of Excellence. We also have Erica Brown with us, who is the audit director, and she is the audit director within Forbes's nonprofit education and public sector practice and has more than 17 years of auditing experience in governmental accounting and compliance.
Welcome, Ms. Dunlap and Ms. Brown.
Thank you. I guess it's good afternoon now. Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Castillo. As Dr. Bien indicated, I'm Angela Dunlap, and I'm the audit partner on the engagement, and have with me Erica Brown, who's the audit director. And so we are going to cover at a high level our communication as it relates to the audit of the financial statements as of August 31st, 2025. As Chairman Sullivan mentioned, we did meet with the audit committee in December and went in more detail with respect to the results of the audit. And so here we just wanted to give you the highlights of what we communicated with them. So I will turn it over to Erica to start off the communication, and then I'll come in at the end.
Okay, thank you, Angie. So as mentioned, we issued unmodified opinions on the financial statements as of August 31st, 2021. If you look at the opinion, you will notice that there is what we call an emphasis of matter paragraph. And that is just saying that the college implemented GASB 101 this year, which was a new standard related to compensated absences. Angie will go into that more, what that entailed, but you will see that opinion, that emphasis of matter in our opinion. We issued our reports in accordance with government auditing standards. And as Dr. Bien mentioned, we also did our single audit. So the single audit is around the federal and state programs that y'all have, grant programs. And those are in accordance with uniform guidance and then the Texas grant management standards. You will also notice when you look at our opinion that we specifically note that we don't audit the foundation. So the foundation is audited separately by other auditors. So we do just like to caveat that the foundation was not included in any of our audit procedures. Okay, thank you.
And as Erica stated, so this year you did adopt GASB 101 compensated absences. And as a result of that adoption, the 2024 financial statements were restated. And so you will see a restatement footnote, note 23 in the financial statement that further describes that particular standard. And high level, you've always included compensated absences liability in your financial statements, but the standard now requires that even if you don't pay upon termination your sick leave or vacation leave or your personal leave, you do have to make an estimate of what is likely to be utilized in the future years. And so that estimate was included in the financial statements this year. So you will see probably if you kind of look back at last year's financial statements that there was about a $17 million increase in the liability associated with those compensated absences. Additionally, as it relates to our audit process, one of the things that we do is we look at all of the different information that is provided to us, and we identify if there's any adjustments that need to be made. And so there were no proposed or recorded adjustments, but there were some uncorrected adjustments that were made that were not included in the financial statements, and they all did relate to the adoption of GASB 101. I will pause just to say that Valerie and her team did an excellent job of kind of pulling all of this information together because you do present comparative financial statements. They did have to go back 2 years to pull all of this information together to be able to determine what this liability was. But there were a couple of items that were identified through our audit process that we proposed some audit adjustments that you can see here at the bottom of the page in relation to some missing employees when they pulled the information, and some estimates as it related to the personal leave. And because we do a sample on a monetary sampling basis, we do a projection of what the error was. And so there was a minor adjustment associated with that. And then, as we said, because you do present comparative financial statements, the standard does require that you present or you go back the earliest year presented. And so we did have an adjustment to get all the way back to the beginning of fiscal year 2024. But again, we concluded all of those were not material. The ending balance as it's reflected in your FY25 financial statements is correct and properly presented. And then as it related to the single audit, as Dr. Bien mentioned, we do also issue a opinion on internal control over compliance. And so we audited 3 programs this year, 2 federal programs and 1 state program. And we did have 1 finding that resulted in a material weakness in internal control, primarily related to the frequency of the error that we noted on the higher education institutional aid grant program, where there's a level of effort requirement, where there's a certain percentage of salaries that are to be charged to the grant based off of actually performing the work. And so 3 of the 9 employees that we tested did not meet that requirement. And so that was a 33% error rate. And so that resulted in a material weakness. We have a recommendation that's noted here. Management included in the report as well a very detailed response on how they were going to address that particular finding, and have already put in place different measures to ensure that that is not something that occurs going forward. So with that, that's what we wanted to highlight and communicate with you today. But if there are any questions, then we're more than happy to address those as well.
I have a couple of questions, but I'll defer to my colleagues first. Trustee Vogt, any questions? Trustee Wilson?
Yes, what? Thank you.
You want to turn your mic on, please? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. You said there was an error, right? Found for the federal, in the federal portion. What page is that on in this book?
That's a good question. It's going to be flipped all the way to the back of the page.
Okay, and is the charge? I know you did the charge, but what is the resolve? What did y'all resolve? Are we resolving it, or what's going on with that?
So Trustee Wilson, it's specifically related to the grant. Yep. So as the auditing firm mentioned, we have provided a full corrective action plan related to that. And we are on target to make those changes. So we've made some organizational changes to where grants report to. The 2 teams are now under one organizational department so that they can work more closely together and understand the pieces that we're missing. And we've also reviewed all of the GANs, which are the grant award notifications. And we've already worked to make sure all of those have been corrected moving forward. So I feel like we're absolutely on track that this would not be a compliance issue further down the road. So.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Trustee Stoma, any questions at this point?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Saldivar, Trustee Mesa, Trustee Kane. Trustee Kane, let me thank you publicly for your work on the Audit and Finance Committee as well. These meetings that they're talking about that are taking place, you're involved in them. So thank you. Trustee Murillo. I had 2 questions, and I don't know if it was a coincidence, but if you could go back to slide 18, please. All right. At the bottom, that roughly, those 3 dollar amounts roughly total 17 million. In your verbal presentation, you said 17 million. Is that the sum of these 3, or is that another, and it just happens to be a coincidence?
It just happens to be a coincidence. It is the The 17 million that I mentioned in the presentation, that was what was required to reflect the liability under the GASB 101 standards. These were initial, the first two relate to when they initially did the calculation of the liability, it was actually overstated by $2 million. And then the second adjustment is a projection of that error based on the fact that we do it on a statistical sampling basis. So that doesn't actually get recorded, but it kind of reflects if there was a larger error in the population, then that's what it would be. And then the 14 million really is just if it got adjusted all the way back to the beginning of fiscal year 2024. So basically September 1, 2023.
Okay, and I still have another question, but something popped in my head, and that's just for the record, are you getting cooperation from the system? Is there any room for improvement? How do we compare with respect to our peers? Any open comments?
Yeah, thank you for that, because I normally try to say that in my comments, but
I wasn't trying to lead to that. I really am curious.
Understood. No, we definitely get great cooperation from Dr. Vienne and Valerie and her team, not just during the audit timeframe, but throughout the year. As things come up, they reach out to us to talk through and come to resolution on how things should be addressed. So in comparison to my other clients, I would say, Lone Star is definitely, on the top end of the scale in terms of that level of cooperation.
Okay, that's good. And this was probably a 5-year contract?
Yes.
So you're in year
3.
three.
So
Okay.
yeah, so the 2026 audit will be our 4th year.
Okay, good. Thank you. And Chancellor, do you have any comments?
I just have a question, actually. We're just going to be transparent, so I'm just going to ask you. When I read, maybe this is a lawyer in me, when I read misstatement,
Mhm.
to me, that signals that a statement was made and then the statement was error. If I'm understanding the explanation, and particularly, for example, of this 14,313,000, is what do you, as an accountant or an accounting firm, call the absence of a figure? Is that also a misstatement? So, for example, the 14,313,000 was not included in the original documentation, I guess, and then we go back and we add it. What do you call when something does not exist and you add it? Is that also a misstatement?
That is also considered a misstatement.
So
yes.
this definition of misstatement is broader than sort of my literal reading that there's a statement and then you go back and you misstated what was said. It also encapsulates things that you're adding that were not there before. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And my question has to do with grants, and it's a little broad, so it might be the chancellor, it might be Dr. Vienne, it might be the external auditors. I'm not sure. In Dr. Vienne's slide, where you're showing the comparisons 24 to 25, there was a large percentage drop in grants from 5 point something to 3 point something. So what is that? And is that positive or negative? And I don't mean dollar wise, I mean policy wise.
I want to refer back
Would
to,
have
so I can make sure I have that
been-
information in front of me, sir.
It's in your table chart, Dr. Vian.
Oh, no, that one right there?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. That
There
one.
you go. Yeah.
Sorry, this
Right.
clicker
Yes,
is,
ma'am. Yeah.
sorry.
So grants and contracts, maybe it's the terminology. Maybe I was focused on grants. I didn't see contracts. So walk me through the difference, and then is it good or bad, or what do we,
I don't know that it's necessarily good or bad. It's just a representative of the representation of the actual revenues that we recognize between those two fiscal years, 24 and 25. So it just could have been a change in, we had a larger grant, we had a grant that rolled off. I can definitely pull any specifics related to that and share, but in essence, it's just a comparison over previous years in the combination of those two areas.
okay, as a trustee, fiduciary responsibility, to the chancellor, it's a question really just to confirm that we're not pursuing grants at the same level, or was it an anomaly that put us in this position?
No, so to answer your question directly, that is accurate. We are not pursuing grants at the level that we once were for two two strategic reasons. One, we need to it's do the thing, not do all the things, right? As the strategic plan says. And so we are trying to be a little bit more intentional about the grants that we apply for. So that's part of it. The other part of it too is that we have lost grants. Everyone watches the news. Several of our grants were terminated for no other reason than the powers that be decided that terminate them. And then there's a third component of it, which is we've talked to it as recently as in the retreat. I'm increasingly uncomfortable with the idea of having grants where we have grant employees with no plan to roll those grant employees off of grants onto operational dollars. So inside the institution, one of the things that I've instituted very formally is that if you are going to apply for a grant and that grant requires you through one of the contracts to hire human beings to come help you with that grant, it is my expectation that you have a proposal for how you're going to roll those grant employees off of the grant into operating dollars before we apply for the grant. And by the way, that aligns perfectly with President Trump's concerns, for example, with TRIO grants. His concern is not so much, as I understand the president's concern, it's not so much that these grants exist, is that at some institutions, the expectation became that these grants would be so often renewed that there was no plan to essentially move from those grants, which is supposed to be really seed money to get the thing going, see if it works, and then operationalize. There really wasn't a rolling off of that. And so from a policy and strategic standpoint, for those three reasons, yes, sir, we are applying for less grants, but it is very intentional because we want to be more selective for those three reasons.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you.
And some additional context too, because if I remember correctly, if my memory serves, Trustee Mesa asked a similar question this time last year when we were presenting, because at that point it was 23 to 24, and it was even more significant because we're also starting to receive less and less of the FEMA dollars that we've reported. So as we've trickled down on that, that's also not being indicated here. So if you look at 23, 24, it's a pretty big drop because we're no longer receiving, not FEMA, the COVID related funding, excuse me. I said FEMA, we're just talking about that, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was FEMA, it was COVID related, multiple factors over the last several years that now would have been included in there. They would not have been included in our budget figures, but do reflect in the ACFR because we do receive those.
Okay. And last question, I promise. Next year, what will this look like? The grants and contracts, will it be 3.7 to 3.5? Will it, any idea?
Not at this
Or is
time.
it even material? Maybe I'm talking about something that doesn't even matter.
We can definitely look at that. We don't know that at this time because again, the ACFR is everything that happens. So we'd have to go through the full year. And if I'm just being transparent, there's still a lot going on with grants in the market and just, and so anticipate that it would start to level out as we no longer receive those FEMA and COVID related dollars. I think you'll start to see some more historical trends where it won't be as significant, but we can definitely continue to work on that and share that information. So
And Chairman, I would add to that strategically, we want to lower that number as much as possible as a total percentage of our operating, because if you look around and you pay attention to a lot of these universities and colleges, they're having to lay off massive amounts of people and terminate jobs because they became overly dependent on grants. These what's 3.7, 5.4% for us, for some of these institutions, as much as 20, 25, 30% of their general operating. Someone decides that they're no longer getting that grant, and it makes them very fragile and very susceptible to influence from external entities. And when we talk about academic freedom, the way to really have academic freedom is to have independence as much as possible from any one entity having that much sway on our income. And so it's very strategic to minimize that, because the bigger percentage that is, the more vulnerable we are to those external forces.
Good. Excellent. Thank you.
thank you. And back to the corrective action on the grants, if it's okay, I'll share a copy of that full plan with the board that talks about the time and tracking and all the changes that have been made. So as a follow-up, I'll make sure you all have a copy of that. So any other questions on the board?
Trustee Mason?
If we can move one over to the right here at the ad valorem taxes. No, we could stay on the same slide. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I just want to understand the decrease there. And if you can remind me, does ad valorem include the entire tax base? Is that a separate category? And then also, do we expect this to continue to decrease?
So again, it's a percentage, so it does include both of those items, and it's again a percentage of our overall receipts, not necessarily a representation of what we're putting in Fund 10 as part of budget items. Because again, this is actually received, and as a result of all of the revenues, the percent changes. So in that case, it's not necessarily, it would be more troublesome as we look at it as the budget related documents and not in the ACFR. Other questions?
Oh, anything else, Trustee Mesa? Okay, I think with, for instance, state appropriations went up, other went up, ad valorem goes down, but everything stays about the same. So that's kind of the way I look at those three columns together. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
fair?
Yes, and it's a percentage of overall receipts of revenues, not necessarily. But yes, it's not a negative thing for us to consider at this time.
So Dr. Vian, I think I want to make this point explicit just to make sure, because this has been reported. It's a public board meeting. So the 44.7%, if you were to give me the hard dollar of that, it's not necessarily less money than the 45.9%, right? If instead of percentages, you had the fixed sums. That, I think that's what the question is. We're not getting less money. It's just a smaller percentage of the overall pie.
Yeah, of
correct?
the revenues that we actually receive for all types in fiscal year ending 2025. Yes, that is correct, sir.
And as part of our KPI scoreboard, if you go to G, and the board has access now, if you go to G1, is that T2, Dr. Vian? Yes, it is.
Yes.
T2 has all of this in hard dollars. And so you can actually log in today and take a look at it, as can any other employee. And so you can compare apples to apples in terms of sums.
Is it password protected?
It is password protected, but everyone in this room who is an employee has a unique username and password.
Okay, all right. I think that's a good jump off place.
Okay, thank
Unless you have anything else.
No, sir, if the board would indulge me, I would like to recognize the team that actually has spent a great deal of time. This is quite the labor of love, and we will actually start this year's ACFR process in July and June. So it's definitely a process. So I'd like to recognize AVC Valerie Cott and her team, and I'm not sure who all is represented today, but all of the budget team, the finance team, payroll team, as the auditors had mentioned, we definitely have to pull lots of information, and this is a very extensive process. So I would be remiss if I did not recognize all the time and attention that that team puts into this throughout the entire year to put this document together. So
Thank you. Ms. Brown, Ms. Dunlap, anything to close? Okay, thank you for your work supporting the administration. Thank you, Dr. Bien. Renee, we have no closed session. Are there any suggested future agenda items? Looking to my right, none. Looking to my left, none. Remote, Trustee Stone, any future agenda item?
No, none today.
Thank you. With no further business to discuss, this board meeting is now adjourned at 12:24. Thank you.